Our next guest, Senator John Hoeven, recently appointed to a very important committee when it comes to the Keystone Pipeline project that has been the subject of a political football match between the Obama administration and Republicans in Congress and the oil industry and prosperity, really. The Transportation Conference Committee ultimately will have a chance to fix what the Obama administration has mucked up in their presidential politics and kowtowing to extremist environmentalists. So we're excited about that appointment, and to tell us more is our friend Senator John Hoeven. Welcome back.
Scott, good to be with you, and welcome back to you, and congratulations. Now that you're back at the flag, that's great. And so congratulations to you.
Thank you very much. We're very excited. We actually will hit the airwaves again on June the 1st. So we're working on all kinds of, we got to move things. We got to switch some things around and make sure that the conservative cause is well represented once again with that addition to the flag family. So thank you. We appreciate that.
Yeah, it's great.
So let's talk a little bit about what you think you can do on this conference committee. Obviously, you need the president's signature, but if you can get the Keystone Pipeline legislation that you so tirelessly have worked on incorporated into what comes out of the transportation funding bill, done deal, right?
Yeah, you've probably seen that the TransCanada folks have resubmitted their application to get Keystone XL Pipeline approved. This is after more than 3 years. This is 2 environmental impact statements. This is after formal rejection by the Obama administration. And it just shows why gas prices are close to $4 a gallon in this country when here's a project, $7 billion project, that not only brings us more energy, so help reduce prices at the pump, it helps us in North Dakota move more than 100,000 barrels a day to market via pipeline. Now we have to move it via truck and rail. Look, this demonstrates why the administration's energy policy doesn't work. They're holding up projects that would create energy and create jobs, create opportunity. So, look, we need to approve this. I'm on the conference committee between the House and the Senate on the transportation bill, and we've included the legislation that we've developed approving Keystone in the highway package, along with another bill which is recycling coal ash, very important for our coal plants throughout the country. And again, this is truly about developing energy in this country, which is so important. Again, it's energy, it's jobs, and it's eliminating our dependence on energy or oil from the Middle East. It just makes sense, and we need to get it done.
Do you think you will get it done? What do you mean? As you count noses in that transportation committee, you got to get it included in the final bill. And conference committees are basically a negotiation, a back and forth. You've had great support on this when it's been voted on. Even some Democrats seem to be coming our way on this and going against the administration. Handicap your chances when you count the noses.
Well, I hope we can get it. We're not there yet. The problem continues to be the administration. We've got 58 votes in the Senate out of 60, 58. It was passed in the House with strong Democrat support, almost 70 Democrats. So the key is that the House has to hold strong in this negotiation. We've got, I need to pick up another senator to move it. We're working very hard on that. But look, there's strong bipartisan support. And in the final analysis, I hope that the continued push from the American people who recognize that they want this and that it needs to get done, I hope that's the push that will help us get it done in this transportation bill and get it passed.
So timeline, when are we going to know? When are you going to actually call the vote? What give us a little sense of this?
Yeah, we'll start to get a good sense next week. On Tuesday, there'll be a public hearing of the transportation committee. We'll go through it. As far as I'm concerned, we should have it done right away. Again, I think it comes back to the administration. They have dragged this thing out for 3 years. How much longer are they going to drag it out? And that's what we'll have to see.
And by the way, you mentioned the TransCanada action to ultimately submit yet another path. Why? What role does that play? Is that going through the normal channels of waiting for the State Department to?
Scott, what it shows is that everybody's done everything they need to do, not once but twice, to address any and all concerns that have been raised, go through the approval process. That's all been done, multiple times, including going through the process with the state of Nebraska. We've got the state of Nebraska on board, not only their governor, but the legislature. I mean, everybody's on board with this thing except for the president, and he needs to get on board with this.
Does he ever? Yeah. So the new proposal, if you will, the new lines that have been submitted, it's just another way to say, okay, here you go. We met another one of your objections.
Well, they had to, because the president formally rejected their earlier one after, like you say, 3 years, after 2 EIS environmental impact statements, the complete NEPA process, going through all the work with EPA, with the Department of State, with everybody. He formally rejects it, and so he forces them to keep reapplying. He forces the state of Nebraska to go through this process. I mean, we probably had over 60 votes in the Senate until he personally started lobbying to get senators to vote against it. But you just got to ask the question, why? Why are you holding up energy projects like this when you say you want all of the above? But because he is holding up these kind of projects, that's why we not only see energy prices, gas prices high, but you saw the jobs report. Again, today the jobs report came out weaker, yet people leaving the workforce. I mean, that's why it's that regulatory burden. He's not creating a good business climate. He's making it harder to do business. Why
do you think he's doing it? You're asking the question why. You got to ask yourself why. I agree with you. What do you think their motives are?
It's a different worldview. I mean, in a broad sense, it's because he truly believes that government should run pretty much everything. In the specific case here, it's frankly Hollywood and extreme environmentalists that don't want oil developed from Canada. And I don't know if you saw, but now just recently, another company, Kinder Morgan, just announced they're going to triple the size of their pipeline running from the oil sands to Vancouver, which means that oil's going to China. So Canada's going to send the oil to China. And so we not only don't get the oil here, we don't get the jobs. It makes no sense.
No, it doesn't. Only about a minute left, but I do want to ask you about another project, the Tioga Pipeline, the natural gas pipeline. There's so many of these infrastructure projects, huge amount of investment on the table, which, again, is jobs and less trucks on the road and all kinds of great things. But I know you talked about that this week. Talk us a little bit about the Tioga project.
Real important project. I know you're familiar with it, having been up in that area a lot. Essentially, this is a project where Enbridge, who's built a lot of different pipelines out in North Dakota and in our region, they're building, as you said, the Tioga lateral, which will run from the Tioga gas plant, which is going to double their capacity. But it will not only take dry gas from the gas plant, it will also pick up wet gas from a lot of these wells that are currently flaring throughout particularly the northwestern part of North Dakota, connect into the Alliance pipeline near Sherwood. And of course, that Alliance pipeline will take what we call wet gas, which is natural gas, but also the liquid, the condensate, all the way to markets in places like Chicago. So it'll be used not only for energy, for natural gas, but also very important in terms of manufacturing industry, things like plastic.
That's great news. Great news. Thanks, Senator John Hoeven, for the update. We appreciate it.